Hello, friends. Let us discuss ethics, integrity, and aptitude. I will explain with you various topics. I will discuss in detail with you on the topic ethics, integrity, and aptitude. So let us start. In the previous videos, I have discussed some topics. Now I will discuss some more topics in this video. So these videos are very helpful to you. It is very helpful for the aspirants, UPSC aspirants who are who will appear or who will appear in the UPSC mains examination. So let us discuss these topics. What is there in these topics? Let us discuss what is ethics. So ethics, Aristotle has given a wonderful definition of ethics. Ethics tells us what is good for the individual and the society, or it guides our human behavior, decision making, and help to solve various problems of daily life. Okay, so it guides our actions, our decision making, and ethics is the study of what is good or for the individual and the society. Okay, so John Stuart Mills has given his own definition about the ethics. John Stuart Mills tells us that ethics is dealt with utilitarianism, means it is based upon utilitarianism. By utilitarianism, we mean that our actions are said to be ethical if we work for the happiness of the greatest number. If our action brings happiness, greatest happiness for the greatest number of people, then our actions are ethical. And this definition was given by John Stuart Mill. Peter F. Drucker also given the definition. He was a management scholar and he has also given a definition. So he, in business context, okay, so he stressed that ethics is integral to the business enterprises. So leadership has to be ethical, means ethical leadership is very integrated to sustainable enterprises. Who said? Peter F. Drucker. He was a management scholar. So management is doing things right. It means management is doing things right, and leadership is doing the right things. So he has explained the concept of ethics in business context. He said that ethical leadership is very much required. So if we discuss about the essence of ethics and human interfaces, okay, so human interfaces means how individuals interact. Interface means how individuals interact with each other, how individuals interact in the society. He has to deal with social institutions, work in the social institutions and society. So that is guided by ethics. So our interaction, essence of ethics means as ethics Our human interaction, our human interface means interaction with the in the society with other members in the social institutions. They are guided by ethics principles. Okay, so that is the essence of ethics and human interface. So ethics is are the just like we discuss morals, values are the guiding principles, and ethics are the moral principles that our behavior is impacted to do it. So, what is the sense of ethics, and what are the determinants and consequences of ethics in human actions? So, determinants of ethics in human actions. So, whenever we are doing ethics, our actions are ethical and it depends upon certain factors. We are ethical or unethical, it depends upon personal factors, cultural factors, organizational factors, legal factors, political factors, and situational factors. We are guided by the various factors that are causing an impact on the ethics. So, our behavior is ethical and it is depends upon various factors like individual factors, our way of talking, our religion, our education, our bringing. Then we have values that we discuss, personal values, conscience. So these are the individual factors. So these individual factors, our upbringing, social, they are just like uh, determinants of ethics. We are ethicals or we are not ethicals depends upon individual factors. The school in which we are studying, the education level we have attained, our religion, our conscience, what are our personal values that also has an impact on ethics. Our bringing has an impact on ethics. So these are the personal factors that are going to impact our ethical choices, ethical behavior. So we have the determinants of ethics in human action. Of course, there are individual factors, cultural factors, organizational factors, legal and political factors that are having an impact on our ethics. Then cultural factors, our culture, our customs, our traditions, our norms, they are have an impact on the ethics. Organizational factors, the organizational structure, leadership style, work culture, code of conduct of organization determines whether we are ethical in our deeds or not. Then political factors, legal factors, our law, our regulations, common policies. So political system prevalent in the society, constitution, they are also having an impact on ethics. Then comes situational factors. So situation means uh, peer influence, how our peers are influencing us, how our uh, pressure is there, and what are the various constraints that are put forward by the resources. So these are the situational factors. So ethics is impacted by a lot of factors like personal factors, our upbringing affects our ethical choices, our education, our conscience, of course, individual factors, cultural factors, our norms, traditions, they have direct bearing with the ethics. Organizational factors, organizational lifestyle, structure of the organization, then organization code of conduct make us ethical or unethical. Then legal and regulations, legal and political factors means we, our rules, our laws, our regulations, they also determine our ethical situation, our ethics in moral action, in the ethics in action. Then situational factors, our we have our groups, peer group that are having impact on our ethics. So resources constraints, then pressures, group also have lot of influence on our ethics in human action. So we are ethics in our action. It depends upon many factors, political factors, legal factors, situational factors, organizational factors, cultural factors, and individual factors. Now we have discussed about what are factors and what are its consequences. The factors have an impact on ethics, and what are the consequences of ethics in human action. We discussed the factors. What is positive consequences? It builds trust, it builds loyalty, it builds long-term relationship sustainability, promotes social harmony, it reduces corruption and malpractices. So it reduces, of course, it reduces level of corruption and malpractices. So it has some positive consequences and it has some negative consequences. Of course, it builds loyalty. Ethics bring social harmony. Ethics brings trust, worthiness, long-term sustainability, credibility. It reduces corruption, malpractices, and promotes social harmony. And what are the consequences of unethical actions? Our ethics, we are ethical in action, or our ethical actions, and our actions are unethical. It depends upon various factors. So ethical behavior is shaped by various factors, individual factors, cultural factors, organizational factors, so legal and political factors, situational factors. So it has a lot of consequences of ethics in human actions. There are consequences of actions in ethics in unethical actions. There is loss of reputation, demoralization of employees, lesser productivity, mistrust, erosion of public trust, loss of reputation, and demoralization of employees. So there are consequences of ethics in human action. There are positive and negative consequences. ट्रस्ट बनता है, पब्लिक इमेज बनती है, क्रेडिबिलिटी बनती है, सस्टेनेबिलिटी होती है, नहीं तो करप्शन बढ़ जाती है, मिसट्रस्ट हो जाता है, इरोजन हो जाता है, लीगल पेनल्टीज पड़ जाती हैं. ये सारे कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस हैं एथिक्स के. बहुत सारी कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस हैं एथिक्स के। एथिक्स है क्या, हमारे लिए सही क्या है? एरिस्टोटल ने कहा है, पीटर ड्रकर ने कहा है कि लीडर्स में एथिक्स होना बहुत जरूरी है। और जॉन स्टुअर्ट मिल ने कहा, हमारे एक्शंस एथिकल्स तभी होते हैं अगर हमारे एक्शंस जो हैं आर ब्रिंगिंग greatest good for the greatest number of people. And Aristotle, Peter Drucker, John Stuart Mill, and Immanuel Kant, he told about that ethics is duty. Okay, so and the categorical imperative. Our actions are ethical if our actions can be universalized and respect human dignity. If they respect the human dignity, if they can be universalized, and it is rooted in duty. So ethics is rooted in duty. So John Stuart Mill, Peter F. Drucker, Aristotle, Immanuel Kant, they have given definitions by different scholars. So we have lot of definitions given by ethics. We have discussed how ethics is impacted by various factors, our political factors, our law, our constitution, our organizational factors, their philosophy, mission, code of conduct, leadership style, workplace culture, cultural factors, individual factors, situational factors, our conscience, religion, upbringing, all impacts. They are the determinants and they are the consequences of ethics in human actions. So let us discuss the various dimensions of ethics. We have discussed the classification of ethics like social ethics, then individual ethics, social ethics, political ethics. It has been classified into various subheads. Then I will discuss about dimensions of ethics. There are various dimensions. That is personal ethics, means personal. I've discussed with you classification of values. Now I will discuss with you the classification of ethics, that is personal ethics, professional ethics, business ethics, public service ethics, social ethics. So I have discussed with you like moral values, social values, spiritual values, political values, aesthetic values, environmental values. Okay. Then when I talk with you the dimension of ethics, we talk of personal ethics, professional ethics, okay, corporate business ethics, then social ethics, then public service ethics. So the classification is done for the values and the classification is done for the ethics. So personal ethics, that like compassion, integrity, honesty, they are the personal ethics. And professional ethics, so professional ethics means you have to be follow certain standards within profession. You are in medicine, you are in law, you are in teaching, you are in business. You have some standards of professions that is professional ethics, personal ethics, professional ethics, then we have corporate versus business ethics. So when I talk about ethics in business means simple code of conduct, then governance, then fair price, fair trade, corporate social responsibility, corporate governance, transparency. Then when I talk about public service ethics like accountability, transparency, impartiality, integrity, responsibility, commitment to public good. When I talk about social ethics like we talk of justice, social uh, justice, equality, respect for human rights. So there are various dimensions of ethics. We have discussed the determinants of ethics, the consequences of ethics, and various dimensions of ethics we have. There are personal ethics like accountable, like integrity, honesty, compassion, professional ethics like standards that we have adapted in, we have to see in our professional life, like set for the professional life, like medicine, law, teaching. Then business ethics, we have fair competition, fair trade, corporate social responsibility, corporate governance. Then another dimension of ethics is public service ethics. So public service ethics is when I talk about accountability, responsibility, then I can say that public service ethics is there, corporate business ethics is there, professional ethics is there, individual ethics is there. Then social ethics is another dimension of ethics. So we have discussed a lot of things, dimensions of ethics, determinants of ethics, consequences of ethics, negative consequences of ethics. So determinants of ethics, individual ethics, personal ethics, cultural factors, individual factors, organizational factors, legal, political factors, situational factors. So it is the moral principles that guide our behavior. John Stuart Mill, Peter F. Drucker, Immanuel Kant, and Aristotle has defined ethics in their ways. When I talk about essence of ethics, means they are the moral principles, okay, that govern the human behavior. So dimensions of ethics, individual factors, cultural factors, legal and political factors, organizational factors, and situational factors. We have discussed consequences of ethics. We have discussed dimensions of ethics, personal ethics, business ethics, professional ethics, public service ethics, social ethics. So these are the dimensions of ethics. So let us now take up with us that what is ethics in private and public partnership? What is the ethics in public and private partnership? So when I talk of Tata Group, they are famous for ethical practices. That is, when I talk of organization, let us see what we can write over here, like fair trade, corporate social responsibility. I will talk about corporate and business ethics. Okay, so there has to be ethical accounting practice so as to prevent bankrupt. Yes, we have to prevent bankrupt. So Tata Group are known for ethical practices, fair policies, social responsibilities, trust based governance. And when I talk of government public enterprises, that is government sector, that is a right of information. Right to information, they have uh, talk of it is an ethical practices in public enterprises. It promotes transparency and ethical governance. Okay, so ethical conduct ensures transparency, justice, sustainability. So ethics acts as the foundation for credibility, accountability, and long-term success. So when I talk of ethics in public and private enterprises, in business sector, organizations are doing corporate social responsibility. Organizations are making efforts on corporate governance. So these are the examples of. So it will lead to bankrupt. So in private public enterprises, Right to Information Act is a weapon, bring transparency and ethical governance. So it acts as the foundation for credibility, accountability, and long-term success. So long-term success is very much ensured if we see ethics in public and private enterprises. Okay, so we are ethics means we are doing good. We have moral responsibility. We have social responsibility. We are impartial in decision making, fairness and integrity in decision making. So they are the moral principles that guide our human action. The human interaction with the different species, the society in the society. There is an interaction in the society. Okay, so there is a interaction in the society. How people connect with each other, how do they interact with each other. Okay, the so company like Infosys adopt corporate governance, and so there is interface between the organization and the stakeholders. It strengthens the interface. I will use the example of Infosys. Due to their strict corporate governance, there is an human interface between the different stakeholders due to ethical practices, fair disclosure. So there is also government, there is ensure public distribution of resources, without any bias, without any discrimination. It reflects human interface, human interaction, and it reflects ethical governance in citizen-state interactions. It reflects ethical governance in citizen-state interaction, citizen-state interactions. So ethics, they are the guiding principles, moral principles in human interactions, so that our personal interaction, institutional interaction, societal interaction, they are based on integrity, fairness, responsibility, thus maintaining harmony and trust. Okay, so essence, meaning, the interaction. So there are interactions that depends upon rules, regulations, trust, fairness, accountability. Okay, so there is interface. So ethics is the compass, invisible compass that regulates our thoughts, our decisions, so we can bring harmony between the individual interest and the collective good. So when we talk about essence of ethics and human interface, it means there is base of ethics. Okay. So it comes from the Greek word ethikos, means character. So ethics ensures the cultivation of good character and virtuous living. We are faced with various dilemmas, various choices, then values of conflict. So ethics gives us a framework for decision making in case of situations with ethical dilemma, values, conflicts. Here ethics guidance is provided. Persuasion is being taken out. Consensus is reached through discussion. So there are a sense of ethics. So what is a sense of ethics? It has philosophical roots, it has practical significances. It means it is a Greek word, it comes from the Greek word ethikos, means character. ETHIKOS, which means character. So a sense of ethics means it has some credibility in it. It has some hope in it. It has some integrity, domestic integrity. It does a lot when we are doing one thing or the other thing. It means that our actions and deeds are governed by the environment, by the nature. So, essence of ethics and human interface. So, human interface, people interact. Essence is the moral guidance, the guide our human actions. So, it brings out fairness, integrity, social responsibility, personal morality. I have given quote the example of private enterprises like Infosys and public enterprises like they ensure distribution of resources without favoritism and corruption. So it reflects ethical governance in citizen centric. interactions. So human interface, how do the people connect? How do the people connect with each other? So I have discussed with you essence and human interface of ethics, dimensions of ethics, and ethics in public and private relationship, consequences of ethics, determinants of ethics in human actions. Okay, the human interact with the society, the institution, the culture. It depends upon its upbringing. So I have discussed with you the definition of Peter F. Drucker, John Stuart Mill, and Immanuel Kant. They have given the definitions by scholars and explanations. So ethics and human interface, essence क्या है, डिटर्मिनेंट्स क्या है इसके, कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस क्या है इसके एथिक्स के. ओके, तो डायमेंशंस क्या है एथिक्स के, ethics in public and private life, dimensions of ethics. Okay, consequences of ethics I have discussed with you. The various dimensions: political ethics, economic ethics, social ethics, spiritual ethics. So these are guiding the human being in the right direction. They are learning how to interpret the human action. So I have discussed with you Aristotle, Immanuel Kant, John Stuart Mill, Peter F. Drucker. Discussed with you the essence of ethics, how it is the moral behavior, dimensions, individual factors, cultural factors, organizational factors, situational factors, legal and political factors. Discussed with you consequences, trust, confidence, compassion, integrity, social harmony, long-term sustainability, and negative consequences, increases corruption, loss of reputation, legal penalties, demoralization of employees. So I have discussed with you dimension of ethics, personal ethics, business ethics, professional ethics, societal ethics, and that is social issues. Okay, public service ethics, then social ethics, personal professional ethics, corporate business ethics. So there are ethics in public and private life. Okay, so it acts as the moral compass of individuals and institutions. So ethical conduct ensure sustainability, governance, justice, and harmony. It brings a lot of things with us. There are ethical choices, ethical governance. I have been discussing with you the things. Okay, ethics, human interface, ethics in public and private enterprises, determinants of ethics, consequences of ethics, dimensions of ethics. I have discussed with you human values. Okay, So, explanation. Values, I've discussed with you human values, lessons that have been learned from the leaders, administrators, reformers. Then, how do family, society, and educational institutions inculcates values? Okay, so I have discussed with you Charles Morris name. I have elaborated. I have given you the names of the scholars like Charles Morris, M.K. Gandhi, Charles Morris, M.K. Gandhi. So, so there has to be a lot of discussion among us of human values. Then we have Charles Morris. Values are stable, so that gives capacity to the individual to regard something as important and worthwhile. Values are the basis of non-violence, morality, truth, service to the humanity, as told by Mahatma Gandhi ji. Charles Morris, they have the capacity to give regard to something good and worthwhile. So values are the stable qualities that makes an individual regard something as important and worthwhile. So values are they guide our behavior. So values are guiding principles that shape our behavior, decision making. Charles Morris' definition I have discussed with you. M.K. Gandhi's definition I have discussed with you. So these are the universal principles. Okay, like truth, honesty, integrity, transparency, justice, integrity, empathy. They are the universal values. They are the moral values. They are the moral guiding principles. So I have discussed with you. There are a lot of issues like our societies are getting converted to from giant family system to nuclear families. Then it has some foundation. Okay, philosophical foundation, that universal values, cultural values, intrinsic values, instrumental values, like classification of moral, spiritual, aesthetic, environmental. There are value conflicts is there. Then how we have to resolve these conflicts? It has application in professional life. Then there are various challenges like materialism is there. Then there is digital age ethics issues like cyberbullying, then erosion of family bonds, consumerism. Okay, that they shape the human conduct. They shape human conduct. So it has to be in detailed discussion. So it has some foundations. There are some conflicts in values. So it has application in professional life, implication of application of ethics, learning the qualities of tolerance, integrity, how we have to be compassion, how to show empathy. There is a things that is required to be discussed. Various ethicals have to be discussed. It is the decision between right and wrong. It enables civil servants to evaluate their decision making choices and arrive at final decision making. It has various ways of classification like moral ethics, like individual ethics, professional ethics, situational ethics. So there are various issues, challenges like digital age ethics is a challenge. Then erosion of family bonds is a challenge. Consumerism is moving towards purchasing and buying lot of things and without showing concern towards the environment. So excessive focus on wealth, status, and consumption. That is, there is erosion of intrinsic values. Intrinsic values like honesty, integrity. So why there is an erosion of intrinsic values? Many reasons. Materialism. Focus is more on wealth creation, status, consumption. Less interest is paid to intrinsic values, and due to this, the intrinsic values are in erosion. So we are giving more importance to buying and possession. there is a lot of things that are required in our professional life. Okay, so we have to compare the ethics and the moral values, how they are classified, and what are the dimensions of it, and how they are impacting our human actions in a positive way as well as in a negative way. There are a lot of things. Okay, there are many examples of administrators who are known for ethics. Okay, they are different from other people. They never bow before any pressure. So even at training institutes, the trainees should be taught about cultural sensitivity and citizen trust. So ethical mentorship at LBS and NA, they are taught to about culturally sensitive and citizen trust. So he Azim Premji is an example of ethical practices. Philanthropist Azim Premji addressed graduates in May 2025. He focused on there has to be honesty in professional commitments. You have some commitments in professional life, you must be have honesty. So you have some societal responsibility to serve undeserved areas. There are some underprivileged areas, societies, and you have responsibility in that area to inculcate sense of welfare. Okay, so admit mistakes when they happen. So he is an example of ethical leadership. Addresses the people, he says that there has to be honesty in professional commitment. Okay, so there has to, for example, the director of Labasna, Sri Ram Taranikanti, they are providing training to civil servants to become ethical in their dealings. How to promote inclusiveness, empathy. You have to build ethical capacity. You have to be show ethics in leadership. Okay. So there are many examples of whistleblower in service like Sanjeev Chaturvedi. He exposed major corruption at AIMS. There are a lot of pressures. He continued to fight for public accountability and public interest. He challenged senior bureaucrats. He received Raman Magsaysay Award in 2015 and he donated the prize to support honest bureaucrats. Okay, so Sanjeev Chaturvedi, he received Raman Magsaysay Award and he is known for dedication. He even challenged the senior bureaucrat and he continues his fight for the public interest to maintain, to remain accountable, exposed major corruption at AIMS. Sanjeev Chaturvedi. Then Shri Ram Taranikanti, Azim Premji. Then Neelam Sahane. So they are examples of integrity, ethical leadership, compassion, empathy. They are known, like I told you example of Sanjeev Chaturvedi, Neelam Sahane. Okay, so there are various challenges, various. Okay, so whenever I discuss with you, so there are various IS officers. Okay, so they are known for their role in their job. So when I talk with you, Let us discuss the some examples of administrators, leaders in 2025 who are known for ethical conduct, for example of ethical conduct in public life. For example, Chairperson UPSC Dr. Ajay Kumar. He is IIT Kanpur alumni. Okay, so he is known for bringing transparency. So he introduced merit-based recruitment reforms. He emphasized transparency in civil service, impartiality in civil service, and transparency in civil service. So he is credit. Okay. For example, Parag Jain. He was the secretary, research and analysis wing. He is known for leading the intelligence Operation Sindoor based upon integrity. So has been praised for integrating human intelligence with technology. So Parag Jain was a secretary. For example, Rajasthan IAS officer Ajitab Sharma. He was principal secretary. Is also an example of ethical leadership. Okay. So he focused on governance rather than a routine task. Rajasthan IAS officer Ajitab Sharma. He focused on substantive governance rather than routine task. Okay. So he prioritized citizens' welfare upon administrative formalities. Okay. So Ajitab Sharma IAS, he focused on governance. Okay. Parag Jain, Raw Secretary, he operational integrity. Ajay Kumar, UPSC, transparency in recruitment, merit based, system fairness. Okay. So there are many examples of administrators who excel in ethical practices. Okay. So they are essential pillars of democracy. So we have to play emphasis on ethical leadership. Okay. So whether it is Ajay Kumar, Parag Jain, Ajitab Sharma, okay, NAEG recognized e-governance team. So they are examples of ethical administration. They combine the values of integrity, accountability, transparency, impartiality, social responsibility, the decision making actions, and public engagement. Okay. So Through Bhagavad Gita, the lessons of ethics are taught. Smatvam, Atmavichara. So, classical wisdom with modern public ethics. So, ethics centric governance is the need of the hour. So, ethics centric governance is being promoted through our literary and academic frameworks such as administrative duty models rooted in Bhagavad Gita. So there are broader context of ethical administration. So far, it is up to this now. I am I have completed this topic, the chapter 1 of ethics, integrity and aptitude, and I have given you contemporary examples. You talk of Parag Jain, you talk of Ajitab Sharma, you talk of any other administrator. They have shown excellence performance in ethical practices. Dr. Ajay Kumar, Parag Jain, so they are then Amitabh Ajitab IAS officer. They are showing examples through their ethical works. So I will leave over here in this topic. In the next video, I will discuss with you another topic and we will have a detailed discussion on that very topic. Okay guys, bye bye, take care.